Okay, you guys ready to talk about the next episode of And Just Like That? It was a good one. It was a good one. Welcome, everybody. So I am waiting for my good friend and partner in crime, Nakia Nichelle, to join so we can get right into this. Hopefully, there she is. Hopefully, you guys are having it so far. But, whoo, that was some episode. And I got some words from Miss Miranda. I am not happy. Hey, lady.
Hey, Miss Ma'am. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Look at us twinning.
I know. I love that. I saw that and the gold earrings too, girl. We got it together.
I know. Look. I love
it. It wasn't even planned.
We are in sync.
We are definitely in sync. I love, see, that just goes to show, like, us doing this show, we got it, girl. We got this energy, this vibe, just like give and take, give and take. Give it to me, girl.
I love it. I love it. I love it, girl.
Listen. Listen. Do you understand how excited I am to talk to you today, Jackie? Because every time we do this, you and I haven't spoke about anything.
We do not intentionally. We don't talk about the episode or anything. This is our first conversation about it right here with you guys. So I don't know what she thinks. She does not know what I think at all. It's
nothing.
All like organic, very organic. Hey, Jumi. I'm just saying hello to people that are joining. Hey, everybody. My daughter is a journalist major at CAU. Ooh, I hope, is she one of my interns? I hope so. Okay, so let's talk about it.
Let's get into it. So I did notice, and I don't know if you noticed, how you did mention that they play with time. So they played with time with this episode in a very big way.
Big way, yeah.
Very big way, because from what I'm gathering, I don't know from the last episode, after Big's death, like where we are month or week wise, but it definitely with this episode really showed like, okay, we're 3 months in. I don't know if this is in after his death or just in after her trying to, see about moving and stuff like that. But what's your
I feel like in that opening scene, we went through and I want to say we went through 4 seasons. Like, I feel like they let time, like maybe a year pass from the last episode, right? So my feeling is that they did that to establish that the time has moved forward. It's time for her to date.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It's not like just a few episodes ago he died and now she's out there, going on a date. I think they just wanted to establish that. And I think that was smart on behalf of the writers to do it that way, to show us in a way from Carrie's window, from that damn apartment that I guess she is never going to leave, but whatever. Lala said she thinks it's a year later too.
Listen, I just chalked it up with the apartment that it has such a significance. It was such a huge significance on the series, on the original series. So we're probably just going to be stuck there for a while, unless, something comes about with Seema and Seema puts a bug up her ass and says, girl, come on, let's keep searching and looking for something else.
I cannot believe it. I mean, but we'll get back to that apartment. Can I just take a moment and acknowledge the hair, your hair, because the movement, I'm loving it. It's so gorgeous.
Thank you. I just love us, first of all, twinning with the big gold earrings. I just can't get over it. What vibe are we on today?
I think we're having and just like that, Sex in the City, like we're feeling the fashion, right? We're inspired by the fashion.
Yes, and I love your glasses. Something different. I love them.
Thank you.
Are you a little on the fence about them? I think they're super cute.
No, I like them. The only reason I don't wear them a lot when I'm doing things like this is because the reflection from the lights. If I look up, you can see, but I'm trying to move my lights around, girl. I'm trying to figure it out, girl. I'm not a lighting expert, so anybody who is, DM me, tell me, I should be talking to your behind because you are such a tech genius. But anyway, back to the show. Okay. So, maybe we should talk. I definitely want to talk about Miranda, but we can talk about Carrie. We can talk about Charlotte. Where do you want to begin? Because I have so much to say about Miranda. We can either save it or get on with the getting on.
Let's go on and dive in, honey, because it is too deep.
I'm done. I'm done with her. Done. Done. I am done. Done. She is selfish. with the capital me. I'm done. She is so selfish.
Listen, if you remember, I told you she is sprung. Girl, I love you. What? I told Che, I love you. What? Now, I will have to say this, though, Jackie. Come on, be real. The fingering scene that she tried to reincarnate with Steve, first of all, I was like, girl, that's bogus and really messy. Don't do that.
This is what I'm saying.
But secondly, I did kind of feel for her because I'm like, what is Steve doing? This looks painful. I mean, he's in her pants and it looks like he's scratching her vagina like it's a scratch off ticket. If you don't get up out of my vagina right now, sir, please.
Here's my thing with that moment. You know, I am Team Steve and I love me some Miranda, but she was wrong, all the way wrong for this, because here, first things first, they haven't had sex in who knows how long. Then she's just going to try to spring it on him in the middle of unloading or unloading the dishwasher. He's doing who knows what. He can't hear. He doesn't know what's going on. All of a sudden, she's trying to force something because of her attraction to someone else. And even when she's trying to have relations with him, she's trying to recreate this fantasy that she's been having. If somebody said it was a hot mess, it was just a hot mess on her part. Have a conversation, for God's sake. Say, you know, our sex life is off, Steve. I'd love to rekindle it. Let's do this. Let's do that. To have a heart, for God's sake. This dude is going through so much with not hearing and things like that. And now she wants him to just follow her cues and just follow along. Y'all haven't done this in years. So now you expect for him to just go with the flow? The flow is ice cream and movies.
Yes.
The flow is doing chores together and looking after that crazy ass son. I mean, Wait, somebody said, I feel like I'm the only one that is all for Che and Miranda. I think Che is right when they said Miranda is in love with her being with Che, not actually in love with Che, but it's still fun. Listen, it may be fun, but listen, anybody out there that's cheating on somebody, I think they think it's fun too in the moment, and that's why they're doing it, because of the adrenaline of it all. But she's in a committed marriage that we as fans have been a part of since, you know, early in the series, and what we went through when he cheated and all that stuff, and they got back together, Brooklyn Bridge, don't that mean anything? And now y'all gonna do us like this? Now you're gonna do us like this? And y'all gonna just play Steve to the left like that? No. No.
You are Team Steve, clearly.
Team Steve, and I was Team Steve and Miranda, but Miranda can kick rocks after what she just did.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so there's so many things wrong with the situation and how Miranda is handling it. It's very sloppy. It's very messy. It's very selfish. She has yet to tell Steve, has yet to tell him. I thought that we would be there at this very moment. She is very irritated with him, irritated with his presence and his being at this point, because she is clearly head over heels. It reminds me of like very smitten high schooler, you know, when you got your first boyfriend and you just everything, all logic, everything goes out the window. But what I cannot ride with Miranda with is the cheating. If you are going to pursue this path or go down this angle, because clearly you're not there anymore with Steve, give him the respect and the common fucking courtesy to tell him and say, hey, look, I think we need to take a break or separate for a little bit. I'm trying to figure myself out. You know, the pandemic was a really hard time. And I just need some clarity. Whatever it is, she needs to be vocal about that. Steve should not be getting cheated on. But what I didn't like during the whole her trying to recreate this Che moment was when, you know, she was trying to kind of like show Steve, like, you know, I'm feeling steamy or I'm in the mood now or whatever the hell. And he decides to bring up Brady and whatever the girlfriend's name is, and they may walk in any moment. Who cares? Like, who cares? Like, they were out.
But that's the rhythm that they're in. Somebody says, I do agree that she needs to tell Steve and end it, like you just said, Nekia. And somebody says she never respected Steve. It's always been her way, tolerated him when she wanted. And that is very true.
That is so dead on.
That has been this relationship from day one.
Yes.
And so remember in the first movie when he ended up cheating, because she was just like, let's just get it over with. Not that it is her fault that he cheated. He should not have cheated. I'm not saying that. But remember the kind of sex life that they had back in, you know, even after they had Brady and he was a young kid. She was so focused on work. So she set the tone in this relationship.
Yeah.
But you know, now all of a sudden she wants passion back because she's bored, but she helped set the tone, and Steve has always followed her lead.
Yes, that is very true.
He wanted to have a better sex life back in the day, but she wanted to focus on work. Let's just get it over with. I'll never forget those words.
Yes.
You know? And so now she wants this hot and heavy sex life because she's going through a midlife crisis, which is playing out in a variety of ways. See, that was not Steve's fault.
I went back and forth with that, Jackie, because for a second there, when she thought she was getting played by Che, I said, oh, I knew it. You know, I knew Che was not, you know. So I did think, I said, okay, yeah, she had said something like, you know, that was the most thrilling, you know, sex or what transcended or however she described it that I ever had. And I thought, okay, maybe she is kind of like going through a midlife crisis. I don't know. I keep going back and forth with this because I feel as though with her setting that type of tone, and I've said this over and over when we do these recaps, that I feel as though Miranda back then in the original Sex in the City was just doing the whole baby and marriage thing. I really don't feel that that's the path that she wanted per se, but she took it because, you know, whether you're afraid of getting older, you're afraid of being alone, you know, Miranda is too alpha. She is very alpha. And
she ain't no alpha with Che.
And that's what she likes.
She is not an alpha.
And that's what she likes. She likes that Che just molds her. Che molds her. Che knows how to work her. Che knows.
We don't even know if Che knows. Che knows how to work her sexually, but relationships, as you and I both know very well, are more than what happens in the bedroom.
Yes, absolutely.
She may be able to, she may be attracted to her, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the person you need to blow up your whole marriage and life for. You know what I mean? She not only has a husband, she has a son that lives with her who needs to move out, but it is what it is. She has a whole household, you know, that's a part of her life. She's changing so many things. And just because Che, again, can make things exciting in the bedroom does not mean that this is the person that she is supposed to be with. So what is she doing? Somebody said, why did she DM her? Exactly. To me, after that first encounter they had in Carrie's kitchen, which again was a hot mess, she should have told Steve what was going on, or said, let's go back to therapy, because she said they've been a couple of times. But my thing is, deal with what you have, the relationship that you're in, before you start looking outside, because now she's just rebounding. She's with Che because she's bored with Steve. But if things were fine with Steve, right, if they were happy and having a happy sex life and happy marriage and everything was perfect, would she get involved with Che? Would she be looking for something else?
That is a very, very good question. And trust me, while I'm watching it, I'm going back and forth with it, because I kind of like to, I'm not going to lie to you. I am enjoying seeing this dynamic between Miranda and Che. I don't know why.
If you're not Team Steve, that's why.
Can't be both.
Can't do both. Can't do both. You can't do both. You cannot love. You can't be Team Steve. And being part of Team Steve is being part of Miranda and Steve and that whole romance, and be excited about her stepping out on Steve. You can't. You cannot.
It's not that I'm excited about her stepping out on Steve, but Steve makes Miranda.
Then she should deal with that and get a divorce.
Yes,
I deal with that.
No, listen, I agree. I do not condone her cheating. But I can't lie to you and say that I am not enjoying seeing
then you're condoning it. You were condoning it. Something of Wonder said, come over to our side, Nekia. Come on over to team. It's not right. It's not right. I get mad when I see it. Listen, if Miranda, to me, it is a betrayal to the fans of Steve and Miranda. Those of us who were ride or die for this couple. It's like, acknowledge that they have problems, right? Let them get a separation. And then have her move it. But to do it this way, and then we're, what, 7 episodes in, and you still haven't told Steve?
Yeah. That's what, I mean, I will, I agree. I mean, I will tell you that she should have been, I thought this was going to be the episode that she came clean, she told Steve, and we were going to see that unfold. But it's just like funny moments with Miranda and, you know, this whole Chase situation. For example, while they were at the auction and she's having a conversation with Carrie and she hears Che and girl,
boom, she just walked off screen. She was gone. She is, as they say, her nose is wide open.
Very wide open. I hollered, girl, because she was gone in a blink of an eye. She was not trying to hear Carrie and her problem. She said, "Is that Che?" And she was gone.
Girl, she's like a kid on Christmas Eve who thinks they hear Santa. It's like,
yeah.
Is it Santa? She was like, she lost her mind. And then when she saw Che and they made eye contact, the goofiest, like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. She is just the biggest goof on the planet. And this is my thing. It is also, like, we've seen Miranda over the years fall in love, have someone that she's be attracted to a variety of people, right? Variety of men. And I'm like, I've never seen her act this way.
Yes.
Ever before. As somebody said, another question, would she be as attracted to Che if they were a straight man, or does the mystery of this lifestyle, is that part of the fascination? Maybe, Miss Tasha, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I think, again, you know, she's getting high all the time now. She let the alcohol go, but still getting high is an issue because it's just, she's you know, treating her, she's self-medicating.
Yeah.
She's self-medicating instead of dealing with what she needs to deal with. And I'm just like, I don't know. But to me, if Che were a man, I would still have an issue with this. I don't care that Che is a woman. My issue is...
Well, non-binary.
Well, non-binary, yeah. That's not my issue. My issue is Miranda cheating on Steve and Miranda going through this midlife crisis and trying to, you know, figure things out by stepping out on her marriage in the way that she is.
So I've been going to therapy, very well needed it. And one thing that the therapist said that people tend to do, and I loved how he phrased this. He said, people tend to use, you know, drugs, alcohol, maybe other people, who knows, but whatever when there is a problem, they're using those things as a solve to that problem.
Yeah, you're self-medicating.
Yeah, and so whether that's utilizing Che as a way to solve the problem with your marriage, there's still a problem. You know, I mean, you're still going to, whether it be OD on drugs, you can OD on a person too, don't get it twisted. But I agree with you. I am seeing Miranda act completely different than I've ever seen her act before when it comes to a love interest. I am so shocked to see her not only pining over Che, you know, sad and depressed that you have yet to hear from Che. Then when you said at the auction, Che was talking and she thought she was getting ignored by Che. And then she kind of puts on these immature antics as well. Well, I'm good. How are you? You know, like, girl, you know, you've been pining for Che. You speak up now. don't do that. Don't do the immature kind of back and forth, and because your feelings or pride is hurt. But I mean, Che, woo-wee, that was woo-wee, girl. When I tell you, I was like, oh my God, Lord.
I just think that it's just hella irresponsible for her and inconsiderate. And I am Team Steve all the way. I used to be Team Miranda and Steve, but now I'm just Team Steve. And I don't ship this.
Yeah, I mean, I did.
I'm not for this relationship. Now, again, if she handled things with Steve and they decided, you know, because listen, people have a right to acknowledge and say, I'm not happy in this relationship, and to seek happiness elsewhere. But I think doing the right thing and dealing with the situation that's on the table, putting that to bed, is the thing to do before you step out and start doing something else. Because again, it's not even fair to the person that you're stepping out with, because are you rebounding? What's going on? You know, and Miranda, as we know, is all over the place. She's a hot mess.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not fair to Steve, right? I mean, for him to wake up and your loved one is doing completely different things. I mean, but then I kind of say, like, how in tune is he with his wife, with his family, that you're not picking up? Like, you know, you're acting a little strange. What's going on with you? Are we good? But it's twofold in my opinion. I feel like, you know, couples, you need check-ins from, you know, time to time. You need to see how are you feeling? Is there anything that you want to, you know, kind of like discuss? Let's be open with things.
Yeah.
Steve is so caught up with the bar, caught up with complacency and normalcy that he's not seeing certain things. And then Miranda is wrong, because you definitely need to give that person a chance. I hate surprise, like, surprise, I'm breaking up with you, or surprise, I'm unhappy. Like, wait, what? Where did this come from? It seems like coming from left field. What do you mean? So Steve deserves that. Miranda should be giving that to him. I am blown right now that she, yeah, I mean, it's an affair now. It's an affair.
So
it's
an
full
affair
blown.
before. It was an affair before. And she should have acknowledged it. Somebody's saying he's so out of touch and he knows that something is different. He may, but to your point, yes, couples need check-ins. Listen, they haven't done that, but they have built this relationship, this partnership, right? They have their ice cream together every night, you know, when they're watching movies. They go, you see their rhythm when they're at farmers markets. It's like they've maybe evolved into a friendship, but it is still a partnership that has evolved into what it is. If she needs something different, if she wants something different, then you need to have a conversation. But if Steve is like, hey, it is what it is, I just love her and I just want to be with her, whatever it is, not her cheating on him. But if that's what this has evolved into, we're not having sex, but we're still together. We're still partners. We have this house. She has her job. I have my job. While she quit her job and she's going back to school, I'm holding this down. There's this rhythm. There's this partnership. And to that point, this man is losing his hearing, right? He's going through a lot himself. So you're just going to abandon him? After all these years? There has to be something, you know, to loyalty and to being there for somebody, for better or for worse. You know what I mean? This man is losing his hearing, and Steve being Steve, he handles things, and us being the audience, we don't know how this is really affecting him, because we don't have you know, multi-dimensional Steve. We just get what we get, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I would be like, and I don't think that, you know, I think if you're unhappy in a relationship, then yes, you should move on. But I also think that you should try to work things through, to your point, especially because you're his life partner.
Yeah.
You're his life partner, and he's going through a very difficult time. Now you're going to just abandon him, you know, just because you're bored. Try to fix what's going on in the relationship. That's, you know.
Yeah. I mean, at least
I'm still done with her, because she should have told him after that little situation in Carrie's kitchen.
Yeah, at the very least, have the conversation. Have a conversation.
Yes. I'm done with her.
You know, at this, but since the last episode, or the last encounter with Che, I think Miranda has already given up on the fact of even having a conversation or even wanting to fix things. Especially.
Are you still not watching the scenes for the next episode?
I'm not. Why? I need to be surprised.
All it does is just like, did you not watch the trailer before the show began?
I thought the trailer was for old things that happened.
The trailer and Just Like That was about to come out. They put out a trailer that gave you.
Oh no, I didn't watch none of that. I didn't watch none of it.
You didn't watch the trailer?
I didn't watch none of it.
Why?
I didn't watch none of it. Sometimes with shows, because I watch a lot.
So you don't watch movie trailers. Now let me remind you and let this audience know that you are an entertainment reporter. So this is what I'll do. There are sometimes I'll just roll the dice. Let's see what we're getting. You know what I mean? I don't watch. How do you decide what to watch?
I read it sometimes. Sometimes I don't. I just am like, okay, let's just see. If I feel like, for example, I started.
This is why you didn't watch Bridgerton. Don't think I forgot about that. This is why you didn't watch Bridgerton, because you have no idea what it's about. You had no idea what it was about. Now it all makes sense. I see why you don't watch. Why you didn't watch Bridgerton.
As soon as I saw Prim and Proper, I said, I'm done. I'm not like.
You didn't even watch the trailer for it?
No, I did not. I just. No,
that's Conan bars. That's my.
No, I did not watch. There's some things. Yes, I'll watch it just. I don't know. It just all depends. For example, you remember the movie Sylvie's Love?
Yes,
I love that movie. Okay,
did you watch the trailer for it?
I watched the trailer in angst. I was so scared because I thought it was going to be another Black trauma porn. Another movie where. We're seeing violence towards Black people, and I just like, especially around that time, 1950s or anything like that, those type of period pieces, my stomach is in knots. I'm literally like PTSD waiting for the moment for a cop to come and slam some Black man's head open. You know what I mean? So that one, I was like, ooh, this was a breath of fresh air. It wasn't it's just a love story. And I was so happy.
Wasn't even a part of it despite the period. I felt the same way, but I knew that I wanted to see it based on the trailer.
Yeah, I just would have supported it. There's just some, I'm like, I'm going to watch that. I don't know. Now, if it starts getting violent, then I turn it off. Like, for example, I saw the trailer for Them by, Lena Waithe. And I have not watched the show because the trailer ruined it for me. So that's why sometimes I don't watch the trailer. Just like, let's dig in. If I'm not feeling it and I don't like it, I'll just turn it off. Episode 3, if I'm still not hooked, it's a no-go for me.
That is amazing to me. Let me read some of these comments. Something of Wonder says, Steve seems comfortable in the mediocrity of their relationship. Some other people said that Steve is complacent. Steve is very comfortable, but Miranda needs to tell her husband what she needs. They are coexisting. And somebody says something to you. You're missing out, Nekia, with not watching trailers. And then Miss Tasha said, sorry, Bridgerton wasn't my thing either. Listen, Mrs. Tasha, she didn't even see it.
I did end up watching it.
And what do you think?
It's not for me.
Okay, I'm done. We're just gonna move on. We're just gonna.
No, can I please explain myself though, real quickly? I won't make it a big thing, but I get triggered by like women are oppression, and I understand that's the time, and that's what it was, and that's what it. I just have to take it for what it is. But in the interim, I'm like, What, like the brother, what do you want to have sex with your sister or something? Like, you're over here getting all in her business, who's in her vagina. This is too much. I need to turn this off. So yeah, I did get to episode 6. See, you'll be proud of me. But I did it for Jackie. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna really hang in there. I'm gonna really hang in there. But period pieces, especially those kind, are not my thing. The whole
Well, I appreciate that you gave it the effort. If it's not for you, then it's not for you. But at least you showed the great Shonda Rhimes some support and at least tried it. If it's not for you, I mean, there are things out there from Black creators that star Black people that I'm like, this is not my cup of tea. Yeah. And then some things I absolutely love. So it just, but I at least try to lean in, particularly things that are from Black creatives. I at least try to just, you know, I'll watch the trailer, make sure it's for me. But then I'll go ahead and watch at least 3 episodes and see if it's something that I will love. So, okay, I appreciate you giving Bridgerton a try.
I gave it a try. So one thing back to, and just like that, I noticed we have been pronouncing the professor's name wrong.
Oh, what is it?
It's Nia.
Is it Nia? Okay.
It's Nia. Yeah.
Professor Nia.
I was like,
by the great Karen Pittman. I love seeing her every time she shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her whole storyline. I love her relationship with her husband. I just love that we are seeing more diverse characters as a part of this show. Can we talk about Carrie and her date?
Yes. Yeah.
What'd you think about that? I feel like we got a bit of a connection here, particularly towards the end when the auction happened, and there's going to be a second date. And I feel like there was a bond, even though it ended with vomiting. They did that together. It was both of them. And there was so much laughter when they came out of the restaurant.
Yes.
Right? I feel like there's something there. And he's so cute. And I just love, I love the idea of them being together. But, you know.
Yes, I love him because he seems really normal, just like, you know, an average guy. And very sweet and understanding. Now, I don't know any other layers from him, but just from the little bit that I gathered, especially at the auction, him coming in and kind of saving the day and just, you know, saying, hey, it's really no big deal, you know, despite all of our, you know, excuse me, our moment of embarrassment, they still had a really great time. So I really enjoyed the way that they did this for her, because when you told me that she's going to be dating, and I didn't know how that was going to go or look, you know, I'm just like, what? But I'm glad that they did it in this way, because I'm accepting of it as a viewer. Like, yeah, girl, go ahead, get back in there, at least put your baby toe in the water and just see how it goes. So I think that it was done really, really well. From the writer's standpoint and perspective. Can I tell you, Anthony had me hollering this episode.
Oh,
I mean,
which part?
At the auction, when he talked about how he crapped on himself on a date in 7th grade.
That was funny.
His little commentary that he's been like, you know, saying and interjecting. There was several moments I was laughing so heartily at his commentary.
I'm sorry to be looking down. I'm trying to find the name of the actor, and if anybody knows it, put it in the chat. Who was the actor that went out on the date with Carrie? He looked so familiar to me, and I meant to look it up, and I didn't. I
could try to look it up real quick.
No, I mean, I'm looking it up too. No, keep talking. Finish your point.
Yeah, no. So I really enjoyed that aspect of them just really showing Carrie's progression. I still think she needs to go to therapy.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to kind of see her doing that too, just as a viewer.
I would love to see that. I really would.
You know, because I found it during the auction, like her hiding. Come on, Carrie, like we're past them stages in life where you're hiding. Because you're embarrassed, or oh my God, he's here and I don't want him to see me. Like,
I don't even know. I mean, it was pretty embarrassing the way that it ended.
But they both threw up. So,
but they both did it. But that was really, ooh, that was pretty bad. But again, it's a bonding experience. To your point, they both did it. So how can she be more embarrassed than him? They clearly had a lot to drink, and I guess that was why. So his name is John Tenney, and I knew I recognized him. If anybody watched the show The Closer with Kira Sedgwick, he was her love interest throughout that series and played Fritzy, the FBI agent, her boyfriend, and then her husband on the show. And I loved him so much. And I was looking in those eyes. I was like, I know him from somewhere, but I didn't get a chance to look it up before we got here. I love that show. I love The Closer, and I love him. And so I'd love to see him go the distance on this show, and not as they do on Sex and the City, you know, the guys, they'll date them and then there's something wrong and then it just goes. Like, I'd love to fall into something. Yes, yes. And I'm also loving how, which you said that we both saw a video of Cynthia Nixon talking about, this is not just a show anymore about 4 women. This is a show about 7 women. Yeah. Including the, you know, all the women that each of the main characters have these relationships. I love it. Yeah, I love it. So we're seeing Professor Nya and the interaction with her husband. Remember, he's a toddler. He's a toddler. Girl, I thought that was going to go left. And I loved how the writers handled that, to let them just laugh it off, as opposed to the husband getting out of the car, something going down. I love. Francine said, what about the podcast producer? He is cute. I agree. Yeah. I thought that was going to go somewhere. And I know I said that earlier with Carrie, but nothing yet. And I think, you know, maybe they just cannot have this man being as cute as he is in that environment with Carrie and something not go. I just don't believe it. I don't believe that. No, I still believe something's going to happen with that producer. They keep giving him one shot. We see him in the booth. Why are we seeing him so much? Yeah, he is a cutie. Coming with that. He's a cutie. Can we talk about Charlotte? Yes, and not sorry. She says she is not saying sorry, and I agree with her. Okay, I was going to ask you, because I felt like Harry was being petty. I feel like the writers here, I'm gonna go after the writers here. I feel like they were trying to create some tension and show us that they are not so perfect, that they do argue, because it wasn't the biggest thing and it didn't break their union. It wasn't like, you're sleeping in a different bedroom, or I'm not coming home tonight. It wasn't like, it didn't blow up. You know, it was a disagreement. And then we see Nicole Ari Parker and her character and her character's husband have an argument. And so it's just like, oh, okay, both of these couples that we think are perfect, you know, they have disagreements, meaning no couple is perfect. But I think she was right. They were playing a sport. You know what I mean? And if that's the one place, she explained herself. This is the one place where I don't say I'm sorry. And I think Harry, who is so agreeable when it comes to Charlotte, I mean, he puts up with so much, even though she's lovely. She's a lot. I feel like I was surprised that he couldn't roll with this, but I guess that was his breaking point. But I feel like he kind of pushed himself and was intrusive of her safe space. Clearly it's at the tennis court. That's her safe space, to be her, to not have to apologize. Right. And he was intrusive on, well, why can't you invite the guys? So, okay, I invite the guys, and then while I'm playing, you're, you know, come on, babe, you should get that one. And, you know, just kind of like getting on my nerves, because that's what I would, come on. Yeah, he was a lot. You requested that I get a little bit more aggressive than when I do, and it wasn't intentional. It wasn't like Charlotte was like, okay, I'm going to show you, but okay, you want to be real competitive. This is the result of that. So no, I agreed with Charlotte. I don't know why he wouldn't let it go, and just why it was even brought up. But I did like that the writers showed that not every relationship is perfect, and couples are gonna argue about shit. Everybody has their different things that they're gonna argue about, and that's okay. I mean, it doesn't make you the worst, you know, couple in the world, but trying to put on this facade that everything is all good or you have no issues is really can be
damaging. So perspective is everything though, you know?
I agree. Francine says, typical of men sometimes to center themselves, and this is her space to play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Like I thought, you know, with the auction, and clearly Nicole's character was struggling at the auction, and her husband was much better of it for him to be like, I gotta go, I got a flight to catch in the morning. Boy, you didn't know you had that flight to catch before we came to this auction? You better ride this out and sleep on that flight? Really? You want to abandon me because you got to catch up? You just discovered? Did you just book that flight?
Right. No.
Like, suck it up, kid.
Right.
I was like, what?
But I do like the point what Charlotte made about how women have to apologize to the world all day long, and it's true. It's true. Yeah. And it gets exhausting. You know, you're trying to people please, and I'm sorry that I did this and sorry that I did that. And it's sometimes it's like, no, I'm not apologizing.
Yeah.
And take it for what it is, and, you know, crucify me if you want to, but I'm just not, you know.
Yeah. I do not blame her at all.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on them to circle back with this Brady thing. Now we don't see him and his girlfriend going at it every 5 minutes and inappropriately in their parents' home or at, you know, some theater in New York. But I still I need to circle back and deal with that. I can't let that go. No. That kid is out of control and living under his parents. You know, and if Miranda want to be upset about something, put some energy into that. Put some energy into that, Mom. Why don't you so out there, you know, out there in these streets? You need to be dealing with your son. You get ready to be a grandma.
You still come on. You still we're still waiting for Professor Nya to come over and meet Brady. That's the moment.
Closer to that. That's happening.
That's the moment I'm waiting for. Like you said, you need to handle that. I don't know what's going on in here, but you need to clamp down on that one.
I know.
Now, I wanted to get your opinion on something, though. Towards the beginning of the episode, we saw that her editor or publisher or whomever this woman was speaking about the book that Carrie wrote. And I thought it was very interesting how she made a parallel with her writing the book and how people, like, there was a parallel there of the book and how people, viewers like us, have been viewing the show. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did. And I did. Not to the degree that you're saying, but now that you're saying it, I did. I was paying attention to that a little bit. I think that I'm glad that Carrie is writing this book. I'm glad that she's written. I'm glad that her character is dealing with this loss and not trying to just still write about dating and still writing about sex and not show that her life has evolved. I love that. But I thought that her editor made a great note in saying, let's give these readers some hope. And that's why we saw that time move forward, go out on a date, go out on one date and just write a prelude, write something about that you're out there again. And I love that. And I love how it ended with her back in the window and having some hope. You know what I mean? I love how that worked out. So yeah, I thought her editor was correct.
Yes, and I just love how, because I was looking at it as a more viewers of and just like that, we're feeling like, okay, this is so dark and morbid. Your husband died. How are we going to get all past that as a viewer? And then we were trying to have a glimmer of hope for Carrie, whether it's get a new apartment, now they decided to go down the path of, exploring dating, seeing what's out there. So I like how they did that, how they intertwined the commentary from viewers, and maybe they foreshadowed that and they knew that, viewers were going to feel like, are we going to be depressed the whole season? But I like how they put that writing into the book and how readers in Carrie Bradshaw's world would view the book. And they did a very great job, in my opinion, in regards to that.
Well, let me say this, at the risk of offending any widows out there, I do not intend that. I have never mourned the loss of a partner or a loved one like you all have. But it just seemed to me that I would have liked to see more, actually, of Carrie missing Big and being affected by his sudden death, especially when you compare it to what we saw when they were in the first movie, when he didn't show up for the wedding and then he did, and that whole fiasco, and the girls went to Mexico and how she couldn't eat for days and all she did was sleep. Like, that was a state of depression, understandably, over this wedding not happening. And I don't feel like we got that level of grief from her as a character in this. And I feel like the writers balance whatever grief did exist for those who feel like that was enough grief. I hear you. But for whatever grief did exist, I feel like there was, levity and comic relief from Anthony, from the other characters. I feel like the writing around her, we've seen her laugh. We've seen her make a joke. You know what I mean? Early on, she's having drinks with Stanford. We saw her kind of, even when she got the ashes, there were moments where she was kind of making jokes and things like that. And people grieve in different ways. I'm just comparing it to what we saw in the movie when Big didn't show up for that wedding. I felt like there could have been more to acknowledge his death from her. Like, more, not to acknowledge it, but just more grief. I would have liked to see more grief from her, actually.
Well, like we said before, the behavior that Carrie has displayed before, this is not the same Carrie that we know now. Same with Miranda. The Miranda that we remember from the series and how she behaves is not the same one now. So I feel that a lot of the viewers are grappling with that. I understand that. I agree with you. I do feel like it's not matching up from what we, especially because Big was such a huge part of Carrie's life for so long. And despite how up and down or toxic it was, I still championed for them. So it is hard for me to see her after a couple of weeks to kind of, get over it. Again, I'm on the same side as you, not trying to offend any widows out there, but just speaking about Carrie's character, not anybody else's situation or what's going on with it. Specifically, Carrie. This is Carrie Bradshaw I'm talking about, not you, not anybody else. Carrie. It does not align with her actions and her behavior. So to see her move on, what I deem as quickly, because of what I've seen her go through in the past when she lost Big, and that was just him walking out. That wasn't him leaving the earth and not existing anymore in her world. So yes, I do agree that I would have liked to see her kind of grieve more and us go through that grieving process with her, whether that's through therapy, whether that's through some other shape or form, but we are visually seeing and grappling with it because it touched me emotionally when he left her at the altar. So I know at this point, I mean, when he was, on the bathroom floor and the phone, I'm like, get the phone, girl. I'm hollering,
I was like, how are you? She let him die. We don't have to revisit that, but she let him die.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. So that's that. But predictions, girl. Predictions.
Let me give a shout out to Corey B, who is one of my favorite comedians, who just says, hi, Jackie, love you. Love you too. You both are in Chicago, Nekia. I hope one day you guys can meet if you don't know each other already. She does a lot of TV in Chicago as well.
What's Corey B? Is it Booker?
Correyb. You should know her because you're both in Chicago.
Okay.
She is fabulous, fantastic, and she's a shoe girl, ladies. I love her so much. Oh, somebody said puppy because my dog. Yeah, I had to grab him because he likes to bark and he was gearing up. He was gearing up to start just, barking. Something I've wondered said, I feel like grief is different in the finality of death compared to what happened when he didn't show up to the wedding. He wasn't dead, just gone. I mean, I don't know. I feel, yeah, I hear you, but I feel differently. I felt like based on him not showing up, I feel like just me that I think that I wanted to see as a fan more from her because of what we saw when he didn't show up for the wedding. And again, think about it. In the movie, they dealt with that in a series of scenes. It didn't have to last all season, her grief. And just like they had the time jump in this episode to take us a year forward, they could have dealt with it in the second episode or whatever. They could have dealt with her grief and then got past it. But I still feel like they didn't deal with it deeply enough in my two cents. Miss Ratney says, I believe Miranda is going to circle back and pull her family together as she has done before. Really, that's how they started. I would like to see that. I would like to see, listen, I want Miranda and Steve to survive this. Something Wonder says, I have a beautiful husband. I know, listen, couples survive infidelity
all the time.
It does all the time. And because of what their foundation is, I think that they can survive this. But I think if anybody needs therapy, somebody said earlier, not only does Carrie need therapy, but Miranda and Charlotte too. Miranda needs, she's just jumped to the front of the line.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're in a rat race for therapy. Okay.
Yes, Tiffany, this live will be available after, I'll post it here and it'll be on Nekia's YouTube channel.
Yes. But I do think that not only does Miranda need therapy, but we spoke on this before, AA, get in a program. Charlotte needs to get in a kind of like a support group in regards to Rocky. I did notice in this episode, Charlotte said Rocky instead of Rose. I don't know if you saw, she addressed, Rocky by the name that she wants to go by. And just Carrie needs therapy, for a myriad of reasons, but mainly big. But for my predictions, I do think that this is going to get even messier with Miranda and Che. And the reason why I say that is because Miranda is way smitten. She is acting like a teenager. She has no, like her impulses are just, she is going kind of low-key crazy. And Steve is, again, like she said in the first couple of episodes, a roommate. And I don't think that she feels justified in her mind that, well, the reason why I'm not telling him is because, sexually he's not doing it for me, or whatever her reasoning is. But I do wonder if this is the writer's way of opening up the open marriage concept that I have, spoken or thought of before. I am really, really curious on Steve's reaction and how he is going to, when he finds out, how he finds out. I don't know, but I am curious to see what his reaction is going to be. I think Steve likes comfortability. And anybody in a relationship, yes, you want to be comfortable to know that your partner is always going to be there. But I think that Steve, part of me believes that he's not going to completely want to leave. That's just me. I don't know. He could have changed. He could get very angry and be like, I'm done with this. So it'd be interesting to see that. Carrie, I'm excited to see where this is going to go with the teacher. And see what they're going to explore. I do believe that Carrie she has a tendency to self-sabotage a lot. So I do think that may come into play with her, spiraling and all her other stuff that she does, just being Carrie. And then with Charlotte, it's kind of bothering me that she's still not, to me, completely. Yes, she addressed Rocky as with, the new name, but I still feel that she needs to go a little deeper with that in that whole situation. We did see her embrace it the last episode, but I still think that there needs to be some learning, some teaching, some everything. And it'll be interesting to see, because keep in mind now, Jackie, Carrie and Charlotte still don't know that Che and Miranda knocked the boots after the auction. So it's interesting to see. I know that, Carrie is not on board with her cheating with Steve, but I want to see how, if Miranda's going to come clean to them about, look, I got it on again. I told Che I love, you know, like I want to see that kind of, well, not the rolling of the eyes, Jackie.
I'm so not shipping this situation. PYT Grant said, did you notice Steve's health is declining and Miranda is entering the next season of life? Steve is having memory loss. Yeah, I was wondering when he lost the wallet and everything, but he did remember where it was, but he left his wallet, I should say. Yeah, I feel like, here are my predictions. I feel like things for Miranda are going to start getting messy, in that her worlds are going to collide in some kind of way. I feel like Brady is going to see her with Che or show up in a situation where Che is present. Because, you know, he's already met her once, right? Mm-hmm. And they, you know, shared a little weed. So I feel like, Miranda, that is going to push Che to say, because it's going to become a situation. And I feel it's going to push Che to say, this is messy. And I'm not doing this. I'm not a home wrecker. I'm not, because Che doesn't know all these things, right? She knows she has a son. She doesn't know the husband exists. She doesn't know. She's probably not asking any questions. So I feel like Che is going to say, get your shit together. And I think that is going to force Miranda to have a conversation with Steve. So I think that we are finally going to see Miranda tell Steve what's going on. But what's unfortunate about that is that she's doing it, which is what a lot of people in affairs do. You know, they end the situation that they're in maybe before they're ready to end it. Or I don't know if she's going to end it, but they're doing something because they want to hold on to this new thing. And that person is saying, listen, if you want this, you got to deal with that. Yep. That's not the reason you should be dealing with and managing and handling what's going on at home. But I feel like Che is going to push her by saying, oh, I'm not doing this. This is a mess. Because it's a mess.
It is.
And because of that, I feel like in the next episode, all of this is going to happen. And I feel like she's going to talk to Steve. Whether or not we will see that conversation, I think we're going to see the beginning of that conversation. But whether or not she's brave enough to go through with it, I don't know. But I think she is finally going to set the intention to have the conversation with Steve. I think also we're going to see Carrie go out again with this guy because after all, she is the main character. So I think we're going to see what's next with this relationship. And like I said, I love this actor so much from The Closer. And so I would like to see him go the distance. But there is this producer at the radio station who I feel is going to be a player in Carrie's love life in some kind of way. So, but the fact that this teacher is also a widower, or gosh, what do you call a man that's a widow? I'm not sure, but I think it might be a different word. Anyway, his wife also died. And so I feel like there's this, they have so much in common. Doesn't mean that they're supposed to be a couple, but I feel like we're going to see more of him in the next episode. And I'm going to just say, I feel like Kim Cattrall is going to show up in some kind of way. I feel like Samantha, either on a text, she's going to send some flowers. I'm telling you, I am saying she's going to be a part of this show. It is not dead. It is not dead. There's some kind of way that Samantha is going to show up in person on this show, or we might see her like we've seen characters like on Frasier, where Maris, Frasier's brother's wife.
I watched that
we
show.
Never saw her, but she was a big part of the series, and that's happened in other series. Like I don't think it's over. I think Kim Cattrall, I think that they have been courting her. I think there have been conversations. I think like friendships and relationships, there's always room for repair. And maybe there is here. And I feel like maybe her heart is softening. Maybe Sarah Jessica Parker's heart is softening. Maybe I might be wrong, but that's my prediction. Okay. That's my prediction.
Well, we will definitely see. As much as I know it's wrong, but the Che and Miranda, like, I'm invested. so invested.
No, girl.
I know. Maybe because it's like messy drama on TV, and I'm like, ooh, you know, like I try to keep messiness out of my own personal life, so to kind of see it, you know, through the lens of the TV is just, I don't know. So this is to me the most like, what is gonna happen? So I'm definitely interested, but as always, this is fun, Jackie.
I know. I gotta give a shout out to someone I haven't seen in a long time, Madonna from Youngstown. Hey, girl. Hey. I just want to say, I'm trying to get everybody in here. The teacher might be Carrie's therapist, maybe. Somebody, listen. Madonna agrees with me and says Kim will be back somehow.
Maybe.
Something of Wonder says same Nekia, but I'm not sure what they're in agreement with. But yes, this is fun as always. We will be back next week. How many episodes left are there? Are there 10 or 8?
So this was episode 7. So I believe the last time somebody said that there were 10. So we have a few. You know, I would love to keep this going. If it's not this show, maybe another show. And if
how can that be when you don't even know based on the trailer what you gonna watch?
Is that what we're doing right now? Is that what we're gonna do, ma'am? Yeah. You know. So I just want to say and promote again my YouTube, guys. If you missed this one, it will be on my YouTube. Please support my YouTube. Please subscribe, like, and share the video because it helps me as a creator as well, a small creator. And
I want to tell everybody that if you are trying to eat vegan right now, if you just want to dip your toe in it, go over to join my Facebook group, 12 Months to Vegan. I have a brand called Vegan Sexy Cool, and I have a YouTube video that explains what it's a Vegan Sexy Cool YouTube channel. It explains what the challenge is all about for the entire year. We have a great community that is taking shape over on the Facebook group. You want to get in on that. It is a great group of people, and we're taking it slow, learning how to eat vegan. So that is called 12 Months to Vegan. But if you go in my link tree here on Instagram, you can link to the Facebook group, you can link to the YouTube channel, and you can see everything and learn about it. And then you can go and join us on the Facebook group. And there's also a newsletter you can sign up for at vegansexycool.com. Okay, we're done plugging things.
Okay, guys, we will see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. Wait, one more. Love y'all's breakdown of the episode. I look forward to it every week. Thank you, Something of Wonder. All right, you guys. Bye.